Hi, Ing105. All right, so I want to walk briefly through the discussion board rubric with you guys. You can find this in the Blackboard course shell under the assignment information tab on the left menu. So starting at the top, the discussion board rubric. So most discussion boards are going to be 10 points. There are a few, including your peer reviews and some later on that are going to be worth 20 to 30 points. So you may want to check those out. But either way, the grading statistic remains the same. So if it's a 10-point rubric assignment or a 10-point discussion board assignment, then you are able to earn up to 6 points for your original post and then an additional 4 points for a response to a peer. If you're required to respond to 2 peers, then it's 2 points per peer for a total of 4 points for your response. With that being said, I just want to kind of highlight that the response is 40% of the grade overall. So we'll talk about how to provide a really in-depth response that helps move the conversation forward, which is the point of a discussion board. But I just wanted to highlight that point for you. So let's first talk about some of the ways that you can earn full points. The first one is just making sure that you are posting on time. You get 1 point just for posting, so make sure you do that. And then for a distinguished post, deliver information or ask questions that are insightful and analytical. Make connection to previous or current content or to real-life situations. Contain specific and fully developed new ideas, connections, or applications. So some of the keywords there are specific, fully developed, connections, insightful, and analytical. So again, it's not just that you are rote answering, the questions or the discussion board prompts, but that you're really analyzing and thinking critically about them. And then your discussion is a reflection of that thinking. So again, the more specific you can be, the more that you can make sure that you are answering each one of those prompts, the better off you'll be. For a proficient post, it's pretty similar. Deliver information or ask questions that show some insight and analysis have taken place. Make connections to previous or current content or to real-life situations, but the connections are not really clear or are too obvious. Contains new ideas, connections, or applications, but they may lack depth and or detail. So the main difference between the 5-point and the 3-point post is really about the amount of detail that's included. So again, it doesn't mean that you have to write more in order to get the 5 points. It just means that you need to write concisely, and it means that you need to include as much specific detail and information as you possibly can. And whether you do that in a very condensed style or if you write a little bit longer, you just want to make sure that you are getting those points in there. So then 2 points is a sufficient post. Says the information or questions lack insight and analysis, make limited, if any, connections, and those are often cast in the form of vague generalities. Contain few, if any, new ideas or applications, often are rehashing or summary of other comments. So again, a sufficient post, you're responding to the prompts, but you're probably not really engaging with them, just trying to tick off answers, and that definitely won't get a lot of points on that. 0 points, obviously, is if you just make 0 connections or completely choose not to answer the questions, or you are off topic completely in the way that you answer them. So that's going to be very, very rare, hopefully. But again, the more detail you can add, the higher you are able to earn points. So the response. All right, so 4 points. Makes a significant contribution, bring new ideas or questions to your peer's post, explain an in-depth connection with a line or idea from your peer's post, and avoid evaluations such as this is good or I agree. So there's a couple ways that you can really think about your response, but again, the ultimate goal is to try and move the conversation forward. So you want to frame your response in a way that will elicit a response then from the original poster. So making a significant contribution, bringing new ideas or questions. So asking questions is, for me, probably the easiest way to guarantee that you're demonstrating an analytical and critical engagement with your peers' thoughts. In order to ask a question, you have to understand and engage with the topic and then try to extend that conversation a little bit further. So asking a thoughtful question is a great way to do that, or bringing in new insight. So if your peer comments on something and you're able to kind of expand upon that idea, that's also really good. Explain an in-depth connection with a line or idea. So again, this is kind of highlighting one key idea from your peers' post and then responding to that, again, analytically and critically to make sure that you are engaging with their thought. And then again, just make sure you're avoiding things like, this is good, or I agree. Those are nice to hear, but it doesn't really help anyone learn anything, which again is the point of this course and the point of the discussion board. So I just wanted to cover those topics with you briefly to make sure that as we're moving forward with our discussion board assignments, that we're all starting on the same level playing field. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I love talking about discussion boards. You'll see me be very active in those throughout the course, but I also hold a very high standard to what we would expect as far as the engagement in this online course. Thanks so much, guys.